We are live. It just took a little bit to go live. There you go. That's so funny. Anyway, hello, Wolfgang Gold. It's lovely to have you here.
And it's my pleasure. Hello, Sheena.
In case you don't know me, I'm Sheena Cantar. And so all this week we've been doing the work on, is it possible to make your annual salary monthly? And I know that you've been closely following me on my journey over the last couple of years with Bob Proctor and the changes that you've noticed in me, but I'm interested in the changes that you have had as well on this journey. Now, the title of this is, I'll let you introduce yourself in a minute. The title of this is about making your annual salary monthly, but also there's a real story that I'd like people to understand about 25K to 1 million. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, Wolfgang, and then also what's this 25K to 1 million? What's that all about?
Hello, Sheena. Yeah, so my name is Wolfgang Gold. I'm a hotel consultant, originally from Austria, but I've been living in the UK now for 25 years, 23, 24 years, something like that. Anyway, a long period of time. So that's £25,000 story comes from a hotel project I started working on a couple of years ago when I was an employee. And obviously I've moved away. I'm now self-employed, but I stuck with that development in a way and helped the owner and everything else over the last few years. And now I'm actually part of the development team. I am part of the director to getting this project finished. And what the landowners now decided to do to make me part of the ownership structure. So I'm getting a percentage. I've got an equity stake in it. And also I'm retained as the asset manager going forward. So it's in a way, I'm getting a bonus once the hotel gets sold, but I'm also being paid on going forward as well as, which is a double win in a way. In the past, the £25,000 comes from when I was working for the hotel company, and we would have just signed the agreement, and my bonus would have been worth £25,000, and that would have been it, and I would have walked away from it. And probably never go up there again to see it again. But with that, I'm being actively involved. I'm looking after a lot of things. We've just got through my time schedule of what I'm supposed to do over the next 6-7 months. So it's quite exciting. And yes, the equity stake is worth about £1 million or more.
That's huge, isn't it? That must have been, because I was in corporate for so many years and I didn't realize just how much money I was making that company rich. And now that you, as a self-employed, are starting to see that, actually, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I mean, when there's another story as well. When I first went unemployed and I told all my contacts that I'm going unemployed, suddenly the amount of doors opened who were close to me before was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. People wanted to see me. They were happy to get in contact with me again, replied to me, wishing me luck and everything else. And then it just was phenomenal from people who wouldn't speak to me beforehand. And even networking events, it was a completely different approach.
Wow, isn't that funny? So that's where you say, I know that there's a lot of people in corporate and are afraid to make that jump, that they feel that they're literally stuck where they are. They've got the house to pay for, the car to pay for, or whatever. But it wasn't so long ago that you were there as that corporate person as well. And then, I remember the conversations and you had the same doubts and worries to me, just going, but Sheena, I've got to pay for this. Sheena, I've got to pay for that. And I just felt, well, if you don't make the decision, it's not going to happen. So there you go.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then once I've made the decision, actually within a week, somebody reached out to me and offered me not a role, but it's a consultancy. Shipping, if you like. Don't know how you say that, but it's a consultancy role. So still being self-employed, but I'm retained by this company. So I'm not an employee, so I can still do whatever I want, as long as I obviously deliver to that, which is absolutely fine, not a problem. But I can do it in my own time, and that's the difference. And I'm not being monitored. I don't have to send weekly reports or daily reports or anything like that. Nothing like that. And it's absolutely fantastic.
But what was brilliant is that you'd literally left a full-time job with a certain salary, and a week later
I'm getting the same amount for officially 50% of my time.
Yeah. And I mean, that was then, and obviously you're doing so much more stuff since then. But one of the main things of the stories that, people have heard my story this week, and there's a part of your story obviously involved in the last 7 years that we've been together, and it concerns your daughter and the growth in yourself, and really understanding mindset along the lines of whatever trouble anybody is actually going through, that, getting your mindset is key rather than the strategy. So do you want to tell people a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so the story with my daughter is that obviously I got divorced, and I wasn't able to see my daughter for whatever reason for quite some time, for a long time. But then when I started the Thinking into Results program, my outlook in life changed, my personality changed in the way how I'm reacting to things as well has completely changed. And I was more open, and I was more positive outlook. But I was also more persistent. So I sent my daughter messages every single day, love messages. Even so, if I didn't get a reply, it didn't matter. I continued doing that so that she knew that I was there. And then within a very short period of time, she reached out, and we now have a fantastic relationship. So it's really completely turned around from not seeing her at all and no contact for a number of years to now having a very good contact, to see on a regular basis. We interact on a daily basis as well. So I kept that messaging up even now. I think that was absolutely key. So it's really the way in changing of thinking about things, because there's no point harboring on about the past and what happened in the past and going on about it. It's really what happened. Let's take the positives out of there and just look forward and just always move forward. And you learn. Yeah, that you don't make mistakes. You just learn, and that's really is the key.
And I mean, in the lessons, because we've got 12 lessons in Thinking into Results, each one of them is like flipping heck. They're all important, but every one of us has something that literally, some of those lessons have hit a key nerve and changed a paradigm within yourself. What lessons were they? Do you want to help people understand?
Yeah, man, there's actually a few. It's hard to pinpoint which one is just the most important one, but one of the main ones obviously is the decision-making one. It's to make a decision and stick to it as well. And even if it's just one thing you change a day and you decide to do that's fine as well. Over a year, that's a massive change. The other one is the goal setting. People think they have goals, but I think you explained yesterday the goal setting and what the goal is. And then I realized, okay, my goal is, well, it's not really a goal. And really evaluate that and look at that and then said, where is my goal and why? Why do I have that goal and why do I want to get there? And change it from probably wasn't even an A-type goal to get it to a C-type goal and really to get it up there and make it bigger. And actually that I have instilled to my daughter as well, and speaking to her now what she's doing, to look at the bigger picture, to look further ahead. When she's in the Northern School of Ballet, she's a fantastic dancer. And she always says she wants to be on a cruise ship. When she doesn't finish for another 12 months, 14 months, but she already knows where she wants to go. She knows she wants to go to New York to do a special 3 months, 6 months course for dancing. So she already has those plans outlined, and it actually reflected also in a relationship she had. She had a boyfriend, and he didn't have any goals, and she said, "No, I can't be with you." So she actually dropped him. It's absolutely amazing. So she's taking it on board as well from my learning what I'm telling her. And then the other one is the 333 article, and I'm not going to go into it what it is, because I mean people need to do the Thinking Results program to find out what 333 stands for, and it's absolutely amazing, and it's life changing, and it's and just being open. There is no can't do. There's only can do.
Yeah, we can't say that in this house, can we? What do you mean you can't do that?
No.
Especially.
But there's something I learned something actually interesting this morning, which I heard, is that the why you do something is always bigger than the why you don't.
Yeah, I'm like, stop with that one myself. And I mean, actually, that's why.
That's in an exercise class.
Yeah, when you talked about goals, that's what it is. Your reason for doing them. When people don't want to get out of bed in the morning and chase after the goal, is because their reason for not doing it has become bigger than the reason for actually doing it. Which is why when you have such a major goal and something that's drawn forward from your heart, which is actually where you use, Rihanna was there driving you forward to create us. We both created a space where our kids could come together and actually have that space and, grow forward from that. That's the other thing where, you become a masterclass when you have two people together. That Wolfgang and I, before Bob Proctor, would have talked about problems that actually now
we don't mention problems. There's only solutions. When we talk about problems, what is it? 17 seconds. That's what we're allowed to talk about, and then we find solutions.
But we also find a different way of how to ask questions from each other, right? Look, this has happened. How do we fix this? And we don't actually dwell on the past either. It's always about, well, we're here now. What can we do right now to make something different? And that makes the partnership just so different. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about thinking into results that, that you've learned yourself? I'm just looking here at some things, but yeah, well, actually, one of the things that you said to me was something about win-win. And I spoke before about people being on a creative plane or being on a competition plane. So how's that affected your business?
Well, in the past, I would have always made sure that I get something out of a deal. Whatever I was doing, whether it was corporate or my own, the famous saying is look after number one. But actually, if you like to look after number two as well, so i.e. the other person in the deal, then you have a win-win. Then everybody is happy, and actually out of that, more things can grow. And I'm working on one project with a guy, and I've worked with him for a number of years. But now that we're actually working closer together, and we're making sure that we are both winning. There's more projects coming. There's more opportunities coming. As before, it was just, well, I want that amount of money, and if that's not happening, then I'm not doing it. So that's not looking at that anymore. It's really, how can we make it work? And it might end up at more, and that's the great thing. So it's really looking after each other, and not, competition is great, and I'm very competitive, as you know, but I'm keeping that to sport and other activities. But in terms of business-wise, still competitive, because I still want to win, but I want to make sure that the other person wins as well.
What I love about what I've noticed about you is that when you're, instead of, because your self-assurance, because we've done your strengths, and one of your strengths is self-assurance, where Wolfgang has the answers to everything and doesn't need to ask anybody any questions, but where you've come to me a couple of times and just gone, I'm literally, my head and my heart are saying two different things. How do I get an alignment to create a win-win? I remember the first time that you came in and said that to me, I was just like, wow. I mean, imagine if we could all work in business like that together. Like,
it would be so much better.
Yeah. Because some people don't understand, like when I say, listen, your business is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. And it's before we do something, who are we being before we do something? Have you noticed it?
But it's just simple things. When you send out an invoice and you're not aligned with it, and you think, I just make up a number, or I'm putting another zero at the end of it. But if you're not aligned with it, you're not going to get it. And that's the thing, or it's not going to get paid, or the proposal is not being accepted. And I had that a few times in the past where I said, I'm so stuck in it needs to be that, without actually being in alignment, and I didn't get it. And obviously that's frustrating, but you learn from that, and you actually now sit down, reflect, okay, what do I really want, and how can we make it work? I mean, it has worked. So it's more, like I said, more projects are coming through, and people are signing proposals as well, which is obviously great.
But I also think, Wolfgang, it's the value that you didn't recognize of yourself. And that's what a lot of people do. We're that busy going, I need to make this work, I need to make this money, or whatever. But actually, whenever you really stopped and looked at the value that you were providing, that's what I noticed in you, that you just saw that, well, this is just what I do. But I'm going, You have 30 years of experience behind your decision making. So just because you find it easy to make a decision, somebody else, that could cost them 2 years worth of work. And you come in and you're saving people money and time because of the work that you've done in 30 years. And we take ourselves for granted, don't we? That well, this is easy for me. Well, it is for you, but not for anybody else.
Yeah, you're not thinking of what you've done in the past. Absolutely right. And I think that's what I've learned with TRR as well. It comes out that the value of yourself and the knowledge you've gained over the years and how valuable it is, but also that your self-worth. I think that is quite important. That it's your self-worth, your self-respect, which in a corporate culture can easily be crushed. Both of those. That can build. I'm not saying that everybody should get self-employed. There is married and being employed in there as well. Absolutely. But either way, when the Thinking Results program, everybody should do it. So anybody who doesn't do it, is a fool in a way. So it can help you on a personal level, it can help you on a business level and in the family part as well. Well, that's personal, but anyway. So it can help you on all platforms, let's put it that way, all levels.
Well, I mean, have you got anything else to say? Because it's just, I think we've covered all the points.
Sign up, get the program.
Why aren't you on? Why haven't you signed up? My goodness, book your call now.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you so much, Wolfgang. It is my pleasure to have you on here as my guest.
It's my pleasure.
And I look forward to more visions that, actually, that's what I wanted to say was about a mastermind. So whoever you're with, if you're with a partner or a business partner, you're in a mastermind. And if you're talking about something positive, then the positive absolutely explodes. If you talk about the negative, then the negative explodes. So a problem shared is actually a problem multiplied. So that's where Wolfgang and I have learned to say things differently, asking a question the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your life. And so we're both very careful about how we ask each other questions about things that we need to deal with and move forward. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
The great thing with masterminds and partners, not necessarily business partners, but partners in life as well, even if you've got two different industries you're working in, and then you can still have one mastermind. It doesn't matter what your background is or anything else. It's as long as you get two or more people together and talk about it, and like I said, but positive. Don't talk about the problem, talk about the solution. That kind of, we had a mastermind sessions, and the information we got out of there was phenomenal from people, I would never talk to normally because they're in a completely different industry, but they had solutions, which is absolutely incredible. And that it's something so valuable. The community within Thinking into Results as well is amazing.
Super. Well, thank you very much for your time. And I'll look forward to our next mastermind.
Yes.
See you now. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.